let me ask you a quick question. If someone stopped you right now and asked, hey, what exactly are you going to do with that Pharmd degree after graduation? Would you have a rock-solid answer? I want you to seriously think about that for a second. Because if you're putting in these grueling hours studying pharmacokinetics and therapeutics, but your vision for the future just stops at the traditional boundaries, man, you are leaving so many doors locked tight. In this explainer, we're going to completely flip the script on how you view your professional future. Because, look, when asked about their future, most pharmacy students usually just say one of two things, right? It's either I'll work in a hospital or I'll open a retail pharmacy. And hey, don't get me wrong, those are fantastic, absolutely essential options. But assuming they're the only choices out there for you, well, that's falling into a massive career trap. It's this binary either-or mindset that honestly most pharmacy schools just don't do enough to break. But the reality is just so much bigger than that. Right at this very moment, there are pharmacists working globally from their laptops for international organizations like the World Health Organization. Seriously, there are pharmacists building cutting-edge AI tools to predict drug safety issues. They're reviewing clinical trial data for huge multinational corporations, and they are doing the whole shebang from literally anywhere in the world. Your degree is basically a global passport, and that right there is the core premise of our explainer today. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover the pharmacy career trap, clinical care and drug safety, industry and regulatory affairs, health tech and AI, and finally, your career action plan. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the pharmacy career trap, and breaking that binary mindset. Moving right along to Section 2, clinical care and drug safety, moving beyond simple dispensing. Okay, think about this for a second. When a doctor prescribes, say, 5 highly potent drugs to a single patient, who actually checks if they are safe to just hang out together in the same human body? That, my friends, is the clinical pharmacist. In this role, you aren't just standing behind a counter. You are embedded in medical teams, right there on the ward rounds, adjusting precise doses for organ failure and catching super dangerous interactions. Without you, the medical system literally has a massive blind spot. Now, let's zoom out and shift to a path that operates on a much, much wider scale. Pharmacovigilance, or PV. Think about it like this. When a new drug is tested in clinical trials, it might only be given to, 3 or maybe 5,000 people? But once it gets the green light from the FDA or EMA, millions of people take it, millions. And that massive public release is when the really rare side effects finally rear their heads. PV specialists are basically these highly trained global detectives whose entire job is to catch those rare side effects. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why PV is so incredibly critical. I mean, you've definitely heard of drugs being abruptly pulled from the market years after approval, right? Well, that entire detection, assessment, and reporting process, that is pharmacovigilance at work. You're collecting adverse event reports, writing safety updates for global agencies, and helping figure out if a drug needs a new warning label. And the best part? It's a highly remote-friendly field. You can work for international contract research organizations, or CROs, from virtually anywhere with Wi-Fi. So, how does this actually translate to your financial foundation? Well, while clinical pharmacy offers really competitive pay, we're talking often reaching up to $130,000 in the US, pharmacovigilance matches that, but adds incredible remote flexibility into the mix. Entry-level PV roles start out really solid, but as you move up, senior roles can easily top $100,000, and again, you can do it all right from your home office. Let's turn to Section 3, Industry and Regulatory Affairs, taking a drug from the lab to a legal passport. If you've ever found yourself wondering how a microscopic molecule actually becomes a physical tablet sitting in a patient's hand, the pharmaceutical industry is absolutely where you want to be, and we can kind of break this massive space down into 3 manageable lanes. Lane 1 is drug development and research. This is all about early-stage discovery, and yeah, it often requires a PhD. Then there's Lane 2, medical affairs. Here, you act as this vital bridge, educating doctors on the clinical evidence behind a medicine, but without actually selling it to them. Finally, Lane 3 is clinical trials, where you design and monitor the massive studies testing these new drugs. By the way, if Lane 3 sounds like your jam, getting a good clinical practice or GCP certification is something you should definitely start looking into right now. All right, moving to our 4th path, which handles the legal journey of that drug. Regulatory affairs is essentially the legal passport system of the entire pharmaceutical world. Before any drug can be sold anywhere, someone has to prove to the authorities that it's actually safe and effective. In this role, you are the person putting together the complex documents, keeping tabs on ever-changing laws, and interacting directly with massive, heavy-hitting agencies like the FDA in the US, the EMA in Europe, or NAFDAC in Nigeria. And guys, what is truly incredible here is the sheer earning potential. Regulatory affairs professionals are legitimately among the highest paid folks in the entire pharmaceutical industry. We're talking senior roles easily exceeding $150,000. And why is that? Well, because drug regulations differ wildly from country to country. If you have the global expertise to navigate all those different international markets, pharma companies literally cannot function without you. You become indispensable and they compensate you accordingly. Okay, on to Section 4, Health Tech and AI, exploring the digital pharmacy frontier. I gotta say, this is honestly the fastest growing path on our entire list. Healthcare is right in the middle of this massive digital transformation. We're seeing AI-powered drug interaction checkers and digital therapeutics, which, by the way, are literal smartphone apps prescribed as medicine. How wild is that? But here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. You do not need to be some computer science whiz to thrive here. When you take your existing deep clinical knowledge and combine it with basic data analysis tools, like say mastering Excel or learning some basic Python, you instantly become the exact kind of rare hybrid talent that remote global startups are just fiercely competing to hire. Comparing these top-end salaries really drives the point home. Whether it's clinical pharmacy at 130 grand or regulatory affairs and health tech pushing past 150 grand, breaking out of that traditional pharmacy trap leads to massive, and I mean massive, financial growth. There is just immense value waiting for you out there across so many dynamic sectors. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Your Career Action Plan. It's time to take that first step. So we've covered these amazing paths. Which one made you lean forward a bit? Which one made you think, okay, I really want to know more about that? I want you to trust that gut reaction and turn that inspiration right into momentum with a quick 4-step plan. Step 1, pick that path and spend just 1 single hour researching it deeply. Step 2, jump onto LinkedIn, find one professional doing that exact role, and send them a super respectful message just asking how they got their start. Step 3, identify and start adding one specific skill this month. Maybe look up a free GCP training or check out a health informatics course. And step 4, keep following this explainer every single week as we keep breaking down the tools you need to build a modern, high-value career. Because here's the bottom line, whether you are currently sitting in a classroom in Ghana, the UK, India, the Philippines, or anywhere else on the planet, your Pharmd degree holds immense, life-changing global value. You are not trapped behind a counter unless you choose to be. The world desperately needs your expertise in research, in tech, in global safety, and in clinical care. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. All these doors are standing wide open right in front of you. Which one are you going to walk through?